Okay, I've been meaning to make this video for a while now. Today is December 1st. I'd actually intended to do this a couple of weeks ago or a couple of days ago I should say, when the car actually rolled over to 71,000 miles, but I forgot. And yes, the spare tire is on the front of the car right now because the tire that was there had a bolt through it, so I have to get that replaced. But anyway, the whole point of making this video is, as I've said before, I bought this car on December 1st of 2016. It is now December 1st of 2017. And I have put, let's see, probably close to 31,000 miles on this car in just 12 short months. I've probably spent close to $1,500 to $2,000 on parts and repairs, because when I bought the car, everything decided to wear out at once, and I hit 3 deer. But anyway, the fuel pump, the ignition control module inside the distributor, the shift solenoids on the transmission. I also did plugged-in wires in all 4 brake corners, but I didn't have to. But yeah, this car has been annoying, but for what essentially came out to a probably $2,250 car at most at this point, 30,000 miles in 1 year, for less than you'd spend on the equivalent for a lease or a rental, isn't bad for a cheap car. This was my whole point in buying this car and making this series. Well, one of my points is that you don't have to spend $1,000 on a car that you're just going to end up throwing a bunch of money at anyway, because you're going to end up with the same problem. I've repeatedly told people over and over again, if you're going to buy a car off a Craigslist or off a dealership lot or anything like that, don't spend $1,000, don't spend $1,200, don't spend $1,500. If you're going to buy a car, make sure that you have somebody who knows about cars go over the car with you. Make sure that they do their research before you even leave your place. Go online, look at the common problems, look at the common fixes, make sure that you know exactly what's going on before you even look at a car and expect to spend $2,000 on a car in decent shape. Make sure you look at the brakes, make sure you look at the exhaust, make sure you check the oil and the transmission fluid before you start the car to make sure that they're in good condition and that they haven't started separating, they don't smell burnt, anything like that. But just, do your due diligence. But if you're going to buy a car that's used and in rough shape, don't spend more than $500 if you don't have to, and don't spend less than $2,000 if you're going to go for something that's in good shape. I have never spent more than $500 for a car. I never intend to spend more than $500 for a car, because, well, where else are you going to find a car that, for $2,000, you're going to get, 3, 4, 5 years out of it, as long as you maintain it. And you could probably get a hell of a lot more than that if you don't drive like I do. This Neon, for instance, it lasted 5 years before I got it, and in 2 years I managed to burn up 2 different engines. Yeah, that's me. But I throw another engine in it and I'm good to go again. And there's an engine sitting somewhere for $200 that I can get that should do just fine if I don't convert the thing to electric anyway, which is a plan for this car down the road if I end up keeping it. But yeah, as far as the Cirrus goes, it's a fully loaded, except for the sunroof, 2000 with a tow hitch, alloy wheels, disc brakes all the way around, ABS, dual airbags, leather seats, power leather seats, power windows, air conditioning, all the good, all the bells and whistles, even the fog lights, and they work. That was one thing that this car is known for that I didn't have to fix, is the fog light switch. It was not working when I bought the car, but I managed to get it working simply by pulling the knob out hard enough that I was worried about breaking it off, actually. but it managed to do just fine. Fog lights work. Headlights are obviously different ones because I hit a second deer after I took out the front end and had to replace that headlight again. But yeah, as I said, if you know how to do the work on your car, you can very easily get a decent running car for cheap. This car was an absolute lemon with everything that went wrong. I've never had a car give me this much trouble in this amount of time, but looking back on it, over the course of a year, I don't think I did too bad. And as I said before, you don't have to throw a bunch of money at a car to get a good, reliable, fun running vehicle that can last you a while. I think the only thing that's going to take this one out anytime soon is if the timing belt breaks, because I've been running, I think it's Mobil 1, 15,000 mile some fully synthetic oil change. I've also been running a quart of Duralube with every oil change and an appropriate filter. So I've changed the oil twice this year. But yeah, just don't look at a car that's got damage like this and think, oh, it's worn, it's clapped out, it's gonna die, whatever. Because this car's got 272,000 miles on it now. The engine has less, but it's seen its fair share of days. But yeah, just know what you're going into when you buy a car, and don't let somebody try to make you spend money on something that looks pretty if you don't know for sure that it's going to last, or you don't have a guarantee, because you're just going to end up biting the bullet. I've had people spend $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 on a car, and I am over at their house at least once a month fixing the cars because of it. If you're going to spend money fixing a car, you might as well buy something that's worth fixing and start from something that you know. I knew when I bought this car that it had a bad control arm. I knew that it had a common problem with the ignition control module. And I have other people close to the family who own another one of these. And yeah, I'm fully aware of the problems that they have now anyway. And yeah, sorry about so many uhs. But if you're going to buy a car, take your time, do your research, find out what you're buying, find out the condition it's in, and don't look at something that's beat up and think it's not worth it, because where else are you going to find a car that has, been reliable and fun to drive and, well, not great on gas, but decent on gas for $2,000 from a personal sale? Because I can't think of any, not that don't need another $1,000 worth of parts anyway. But yeah, that's the 1 year update on the Cirrus. Oh, I also flushed the heater core again today because I wasn't quite getting enough heat, and found another bunch of crap, so I back flushed the engine a little bit as well. So yeah, those kits you can buy at Walmart where you cut one of the heater hoses and stick the piece in that lets you attach a garden hose to your car, those aren't worth it. They don't really do that great. But in a pinch, if you can get away with it, they're good for flushing your system every 3 years, which you should do anyway, but they're not good for unblocking your heater core. And I guess that's it. Thanks for watching, and I guess stay tuned for any updates. Ask any questions if you want in the comment. I'll see if I can answer them. Bye.